Battle of the Bands, and joining me on the stage is Julie Sylvester. She's a co-producer, sports and fitness tech for Living in Digital Times, and we'll start out this microphone's coming up, though, Julie. Oh, there we go. We got it. Here you go, sweetie.
I don't normally need a mic, but we'll try it today and see what happens. Hey, thanks for coming, everybody. I hope that you aren't expecting to see the Rolling Stones or U2 or the Roots, because we're not talking about that kind of band. Obviously, wearable tech is a booming industry, and nowhere is it bigger than fitness devices. They enable you to track everything from calories burned to how many miles per gallon your car is getting. Okay, I made that part up. But soon, we're all aware of how extensive the capabilities of these devices are. Our Battle of the Bands debuted at, excuse me a second. That clock is really intimidating, Peter. Our Battle of the Bands debuted last January at CES in Las Vegas. So we had a variety of bands participate. We had a variety of skits and music and loudness and craziness. So we're taking it down a little notch this time. And we have some very new technology, very exciting presentations that we're excited to present. And we have an MC who's going to be helping us out. Andia Winslow, a Yale graduate and founder of the Fit Cycle. She's a professional golfer, and she works with Everyday Health. Andia is going to be asking some questions, and my voice is just shot. Andia, would you come up here, please? Obviously, Andia knows her fitness, and we're hoping she's going to say a little something after every presentation. So everybody has 4 minutes. They're going to present. Andia is going to ask them some questions, and then we're going to take some questions from the audience. 4 minutes is the limit. The screen will go black. At the end, we're going to take a hand count and see who the winner is. All right?
I'm excited.
Okay, so we have the woman from Wellograph, correct? You're next. You're going to be our first person. Hi. You weren't who I was expecting.
Who were you expecting?
I was expecting Nick. Yeah. I know. I met you at CES.
Yes.
Well, welcome. So I want to give you this. There's instructions to go with it, and they just gave them to me, and I have no idea if they're the correct ones. The green thing advances the slide. Do not push the red button.
Okay.
When you get to the end of the presentation, do not hit the green button again.
And it's just going to go automatically?
She can hit the red button mid-presentation, just not on the first slide.
Not on the first slide. Don't hit the red button on the first slide.
So should I hit it now? No pressure.
No pressure. All right, you're on. Time starts now.
So it's just going to roll, right? Awesome. Hi, everyone. How are you? Can you hear me okay? Yep, awesome. Cool. So my name is Katie Warnock. I actually own and operate a staffing firm out of Tribeca that focuses on the nonprofit sector. My brother was supposed to be here today. So I am here speaking on behalf of him. This is the world's first wellness watch and activity tracker. It's actually made of sapphire crystal. So the thing with this product is there's wearables all over the place. I was at CES in Vegas, and everybody has a wearable device. As a fitness instructor, a lot of the wearables out there that are tracking activities, calories, whatever it is, they're ugly, they're plastic, and they're really actually only targeting your workout and that 2 hours you're wearing it at the gym or the run through Central Park or whatever it is. This watch, they wanted to really look at the design and cater to a much different audience, an audience that's a working professional that wants to get a true picture of their health throughout the day, not just the 2 hours that they spend at the gym. So someone like my parents that care about their heart rate, how many steps they're taking, they could wear this watch. It's not really meant for the avid gym goer, if that makes sense. So they really focus just on the design. Again, it's made of sapphire crystal. That's probably gonna fall. I have a knife. I could do this all day. It won't scratch, okay? So again, it's the first product on the market made out of sapphire crystal, like some of the higher end watches that are out on the market, such as Rolex and so on. Has a sensor, so you don't have to actually wear a heart rate monitor on your rib cage. That tends to be a little bit annoying. I mean, I have a Polar. I know what that's like. This actually reads right from your wrist pulse. Cool? This is the look, the design. You could wear it for running. All you do, and all the information actually is stored right on the device, so it does come with an app as well. However, it will store up to 3 months worth of data right there. You can upload everything else to your app or on your computer, but this will stay here. That's it. Any questions? No? Go ahead. It's on the market for $349. Pre-orders are available right now off of their website, and then it starts shipping in August. And it will be available in stores August 1st as well.
Does it track sleep?
It doesn't track sleep. They purposely didn't want to have it cater to that. It's sort of weird and creepy if that gets out on the internet, what you're doing during your sleep, right?
Question.
Go.
Waterproof is an issue that most devices face and serve. Is your device waterproof?
It's not going underwater, but it will hold to sweat, so you can wear it in the gym if you need to.
Okay, so no swimming with it?
Yes, fine.
Fine.
Yes.
Swimming is fine.
Swimming's
Okay,
fine.
all right.
Yeah. But you're not going deep sea diving with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you know how deep it goes underwater?
No, I
'Cause
don't
you
know.
Okay. The shower?
Yeah, I mean, you could shower with it if you want to. The band is a leather band. It is interchangeable. But the issue is you have to get a tight band if you wanted to change it, because it needs to stay on your wrist to read the pulse accurately.
And have you guys had any issues with the pulse reading? Because a lot of these devices you have to reset and take it on and off. And I have a small wrist, for example. So would that stay attached? And if it doesn't, do you have different size units, or how does that work?
No, I have a small wrist too. We haven't had any issues with it yet. Actually, they focused on the accuracy of that as one of the priorities, because a lot of the other bands tend to do that, and that's what we found at CES as well.
All right, excellent.
Cool.
Any other questions in the audience? It's sleek.
Sleek.
It's smart.
Yeah.
Fashionable, form and function.
Anyone else? We good? I am wearing
She
the holograph.
is.
Yeah.
Does it come in more than one color? That's the other question most
For
folks have.
right now, yeah, I mean, that's a huge question. For right now, it's done with the silver chrome and the black. Obviously, as they advance and make more, I think that they're going to start to change the different colors. But then pricing becomes an issue.
Right.
You know, you could have a gold face, but then it's going to be, way more expensive.
And the price point now, $349.
$349.
Is that going to go down after?
I think after launch, it probably will go down.
Excellent.
Cool?
Thank you so much, Holograph
No
and Kay,
problem.
for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Excellent. I'll take it. I'll take this one. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the next up, we have Goki. Abhishek, watch the camera. All right. And that's Goki, Goqii. Time starts now.
Tracker. Tracker.
Never mind. Stop the clock. There you go. Now it goes.
The green one, right? Okay. So first of all, I have a confession to make. I'm not here to talk about any fitness tracker or... Can you hear me? Yeah. So I'm not going to talk about any fitness tracker or, as a matter of fact, any fitness brand. I'm going to talk about 3 different things. I'm going to talk about a philanthropic platform which enables you to support the cause of your like. I'm going to talk about an actual human coach which trains you in the lifestyle. And because the Julia insisted and because of the rule of conference, I'm going to walk through a fitness tracker. So let me introduce you to Goki. Goki is nothing. Somehow it's not working. Can you hear me? Yeah, perfect. So Goki is Goki is an ecosystem. Basically, Goki is not a fitness tracker. What the Goki is an ecosystem which uses band like a data tracker or a data recorder, which through an app interacts with your actual human coach, which trains you on your lifestyle, on your motivation, on your habit formation. Each of these coaches are backed by the experts from the field of nutrition, medicine, human behavior, gamification, and it also allows you to do good for others, good for people. So what are the things which Goki works on? The fourth principle, basic principle which Goki works on is motivation, habit formation, goal enforcement, and engagement. Let's look at some of the parts of Goki ecosystem. This is the band, like I promised. So besides all the funky features it has about wireless, seamless transfer to this thing, it tracks your motion, it tracks your sleep. But is it intelligent enough to help you achieve your health and fitness goal? Or as a matter of fact, any other band available in the market? I would say no. The reason being is, it's very easy to track and store data, but what you do with the data or how you analyze and understand that data, that's what makes the difference. So for that, what we have something called as the backbone of the Goki ecosystem, which is a human coach. So what a coach does is, it analyzes all the data and all the inputs what you have from the device and through the app and work with the users, or as we like to call them players, on achieving their health and fitness goal. They work on the parameters of motivation, they work on the parameters of habit formation, they work on the parameter of goal enforcement. So this is the conversation I had with my coach 2 weeks back as I landed in Delhi at 8 p.m. in the night. So your coach is there for you all the time to guide you, to handhold you, to do the right thing. At Goki, we believe to live a complete, fulfilled life, you need to help others. Till the time you don't help and pass, who are the less fortunate one, you're not living the full part. And this is my favorite part of Goki ecosystem. We call it Goki Karma. Goki Karma is a philanthropic platform. For every 390 steps which a user take, they get 1 karma point, which they can use as a virtual currency to support the cause of their choice. And in the backhand, we also have the network of karma partners, which donates the actual dollar money to those causes based on the pledge they have taken for that cause. So besides all the intangible things, it also motivates players to be more active and also generates the habit of giving. So let's say see what our player says. We have roughly around 800 beta players as of now. So this is what some of them say. So as you can see, they are motivated, they are engaging, they're cutting down on their bad habits, their body parameters or their health and stats are improving. And this is all from the real players which we have right now. Thank you.
That's awesome. So I like the idea of gamification of data, but using it as social rewards, social capital. Right. I'm curious, though, how do you pick your partners? How do the partners pick their coaches? And is that coaching service an additional cost for users, or is it in their original price of the device?
It's in the original pricing. We don't sell device. The hardware comes free.
Hardware comes free. So what is it? What costs?
So we have this whole ecosystem for 6 months is roughly around $120.
Okay.
For a year, it's roughly around $200. And if you don't want to use the coach after 6 months, the hardware is yours. It's free.
Okay. And the question I always ask about hardware is it waterproof? Because folks do a lot of swimming and think that's a very popular
You can
sport.
swim, but I won't say diving. It's shower-proof, sweat-proof.
Okay. How do you choose your coaches? Because that's a
So
consistency
the coaches
issue.
is based on, we have a system. So what the system does is we have a know your player kind of an introduction with the player who comes on board. And based on what their health and fitness goal is, the coaches get assigned to them.
Okay. Let's say I want to run at 1 a.m. because I'm feeling like Floyd Mayweather. I'm like, got to get out this energy. Is my coach available?
Right.
He is?
Yeah.
She is?
So it was at 8 p.m. in the night.
So what about my coach? Do they get a life too? Or?
They do get a life. So first of
I've
all,
got people texting me all day
first
like,
of all,
hey,
your
coach.
coach will say not to go for a run at 8 p.m., 1 a.m. They will rather coach you so that you wake up early and go for a run in the morning and sleep on time.
Interesting, interesting. What happens when my schedule doesn't allow for that, though? I'm just curious. I like the platform. I'm just curious about how the coaching works and how people are accountable for their partners or for their players.
So in terms of lifestyle, I would say everyone is busy, right? No one has a time to do exercise. No one has a time to do, but that you have to make. And that's what your coaches work on. So habit, what you can call is, the efficiency system of the mind.
Surely.
Right? To how your mind works. So that's where they find the loopholes where you can be more active.
Okay.
Right? So they find the loopholes in your day routine and try to guide you and to nudge you. This is the time you could have probably go for a run.
Sure. Question in the back.
You have to be connected all the time to the internet to use your coaching programs?
So when you interact with your coach, you need to be connected to an internet. But for the transfer of data from the device, obviously not.
Question here in the center.
How do you select the donors on the Karma program?
So donor on the Karma platforms based on their inclination and the pledge for the whole ecosystem. So right now, like we have Oxfam. So Oxfam has pledged for the social causes which are listed on that. And the amount varies from $30,000 to as high as $50,000.
Question here in the front.
Demographically, most of the people who buy fit bands are in their 20s and 30s,
Right.
although some in their 40s and 50s. But what if you have between 55 and 70? Are your coaches equipped to give the right expertise for the pacing that's needed?
So I would say the oldest beta user I have is 65-year-old. So they do guide, the older because they understand probably the physical limitations or their habit limitations they have, and they work accordingly. So it's very individualistic. So for every player, it's not a replica or a copy paste for any of the players.
Any other questions for Goki?
Do the coaches have certifications? What are their certifications to be called coaches?
So they have a qualification based on the various fields, be it nutrition, fitness, and all that. And we do have an in-house 2-month training program for any of the coaches before they interact with the players.
I had a question actually about that in terms of privacy and visualization of data. How do you make certain that that information that's passed on between the player and the coach is privatized and safe?
So we don't share that information with anyone. In fact, within the organization, we don't have the access. Like, I don't have the access to player information. Only the players have it, and it's overlooked by the experts. So it's a totally private and secure.
All right. Any other questions for Goki? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Abhi. So the next up is Skulpt. Hey guys, at the end, if you want a question, please, we'll bring you a mic. We want to make sure that everybody can hear the questions and the answers. And Skulpt, you have the clicker. Watch the red button. Time starts now.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jose Borquez. I'm co-founder and CEO of Skulpt, and I'm here with my good friend George Dorsey. He's a certified ACSM trainer. He's also a professional bodybuilder and a fitness expert. And we're here to talk to you about the Skulpt Aim. We've seen a lot of cool technology here. You see a lot of cool technology out there now. Tracks your activity, tracks how much water you're drinking, tracks your sleep, right? But at the end of the day, what's tracking your body? Like, what's happening to your body? Most people, unfortunately, use a scale today, right? How many of you here have used a scale in the recent past to measure your weight? Don't be shy. All right. I mean, I bet it's probably the majority of you, right? And, I mean, George, what's your take on scales?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because scales are actually like 1940s old technology. As a certified trainer, one of the first things that I tell my clients is to throw away their scale because body fat or body weight is just not an indicator of fitness. And it's common for somebody to actually gain weight when they're working out, but they're actually going to be losing body fat, but then gaining muscle mass. So actually, body fat percentage is a better indicator of fitness.
Okay, cool. So with body fat percentage today, how would you measure that?
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm actually embarrassed to say this, but I've been using skin caliper tests. And I don't do that anymore because this is not accurate, and then really nobody wants you to pinch their body fat. So I just kind of throw it out the window.
I think he's right. I don't know about you, but I don't want somebody pinching my fat, and that's really kind of old technology.
Yeah. So, and actually, I'm glad you on that because this is actually the first true fitness tracker. And again, it allows me to track body fat percentage lost and then actually muscle gained.
Yeah, so with the Skulpt aim, I think you brought one with you, right?
I sure did.
Yeah, so how would you use that? Because we can sit here and talk about it all day, but maybe you can give us a quick demo?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where do you want me to?
Maybe you can measure your abs real quick. Just pull up your shirt a little bit. Yeah, is that all right? Yeah, just pull.
Can I just take my shirt off? Is that okay?
Is it all right if he takes his shirt off? I don't know if we're going to break any rules. Yeah, all right. I swear, everywhere I go with George, he wants to take his shirt off. I'm sorry. So welcome to the gun show portion of the presentation. While George takes a measurement on his abs, we'll just tell you a little bit. What he's going to measure is his fat percentage and his muscle quality, or MQ. And your MQ is kind of like your IQ. 100 is about average. Somebody who works out, with some regularity might be at 120. Somebody who is really fit would be like at 130. What do we get there on your abs?
You know what? I'm actually at 128 right now, so I need a little.
Nah, so that's on his abs. He's 130 is usually pretty good. How do you use this information,
I
George?
can actually use this information to tailor a workout plan for me, and then also for my clients of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, can you use it on any other muscles?
Absolutely, I can do my biceps. Can I do my biceps?
Go ahead, let's see what you got on your biceps. Great. And while he's telling you about that, one of the cool things is that it's got Bluetooth Smart, so it sends all that information to your online dashboard. So you can see how you're improving over time. You can see all your different muscles, which ones are doing better than others, if there's particular areas you need to work on. And what do we get there on your biceps? He's measuring his biceps. What do we get there?
I got 146.
So 146 on his biceps. I'm at about 108, so we're pretty similar, Look, at the end of the day, you can measure your steps, you can measure your sleep, you can measure your calories. That's good stuff, right? But if you want to see what's happening to your body, how it's improving, stay motivated with that, you need to measure your body. You need to measure how much fat you're losing and how much muscle quality you're gaining. Come by our booth. We're at booth 23. If you can beat Georgia's score, you get a free Skulpt aim. So come on by.
Excellent. Guys, can you stay up there for a second? Andia is going to ask you some questions, and we'll take some questions from the audience.
Thank you, gentlemen. You can put your shirt back on now. It's okay.
Really?
Sure, I would appreciate the light just reflecting off your abs. Is anyway, so this seems really exciting to see that you can see the capacity of work for muscle. My only curiosity, the first curiosity is, you can't spot reduce when you're training. I'm a trainer as well. So you may know the capacity of the muscle and what it can do and how it can grow, but can you spot, I'm just curious you can't really spot check a muscle. I'm not sure if I understand what this is working. So you can't spot reduce. I go and look at my abs, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do 20 abs and then 20 crunches and that's not how abdominal work works. So how do you guys address that issue? There's no spot reduction.
Yeah, so actually what happens is I can take that information, I can tailor a workout plan. So it's really about the accumulation of adipose tissue or body fat, and that gives me specific information as far as where the body fat is being accumulated. So I can do different tricks or do different things to try to affect change in that particular area.
I think maybe if I specify, this issue is about the totality of what you're doing, because first of all, diet's a serious issue, and glucose and things. So you may work out as much as you want, but you're not going to affect the quality of the muscle if you are not eating properly. So
Absolutely.
Does this issue address that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're right. Your fitness is not just going to be tailored by your workouts. It's also going to be tailored by your diet, your sleep. All these other things come into play. So you want to know what your total body is working on, and you can actually get a total body measurement based on 4 muscles: biceps, triceps, abs, and quads. That gives you a total body fat estimate and your total body muscle quality. In terms of fat reduction in specific areas, it's kind of controversial. Some people believe you can do it, some people you can't. But with muscle quality, you can certainly improve specific muscles in your body by doing the right exercises with them, increase muscle mass, and increase muscle tone. Like, for example, women sometimes worry, all right, if I do strength training, maybe I'll look too muscular. But it's actually very beneficial for women to do strength training. I'm sure you know this.
Right.
Because it improves your metabolism, it makes you look better, and it makes you more healthy.
Osteoporosis and all that.
Exactly.
The next question would be then, if, let's say, I need to work on my biceps because they pale in comparison to his. Stay over there, man, stay over there. My question is, do you all offer like do you offer programming for? Do you give like eye muscle from Nova? Do you actually show folks what they could do, or you just recommend that they go do something for that particular body part?
You know, at launch, the product is going to include that, you know, we showed some images of the app where you're going to be able to see all your different muscles, how they're improving over time. As we build out more features into the software, we do plan to help people see, okay, here's some exercises you can do specifically for these muscles. And we're also working with a number of trainers and gyms into incorporating that. You know, if you have a trainer, how does that trainer help me work using this technology to improve my fitness? So we really see this as a tool, not just to learn about your body, but then to incentivize you, motivate you to improve your body. And of course, there's a lot of information you can gather to help achieve that.
Do you guys have a attachment someone could put, someone who's forgetful and loses things? Where can I place this so I don't lose it? Because that device is not attached to my body in any capacity.
Yeah, the cool thing about this is you don't have to carry it with you all day long. This is something you can have in your bathroom. You measure yourself in the morning when you get out of the shower. You can throw it in your gym bag. It comes with a cradle to charge it. So you put it on your cradle, and that's how it charges. You know,
How long does that charge last for folks?
It can actually, you know, usually last a couple of months if you're just using it once a day. You know, if you lose, I'm sure when you first get it, you're going to play with it a lot. Maybe it'll last a couple of weeks, but it recharges very quickly.
Excellent. Any questions in the audience in the front here?
If you're measuring your abdominal fat, is there anything that allows it to distinguish between the surface fat and the visceral fat around your organs or around your heart?
So initially, the fat percentage measurement that it gives you doesn't distinguish between visceral and non-visceral fat, but understanding the amount of fat percentage you have in your abdomen in general is really important. I mean, you know, George talks about this all the time. It correlates very strongly with a number of health issues. So that's one of the nice things of being able to distinguish total body fat from abdominal fat or other parts of your body.
I wonder if there's a setting for men versus women. A female that got your ratings would scare me. So,
yeah,
is there some distinguishing factors there?
Yeah, and not only distinguishing factors between men and women, but part of what the app will do is actually give you ways to compare yourself to all sorts of demographics. So you might have an MQ of 120, and that's great, but how does that compare, you know, if you're a 60-year-old man or if you're a 45-year-old woman who has very specific interests, where does that place me among that group? You know, and part of what we're building into the app as well is, you know, what if you're a golf player and you want to see, okay, how do I stack up against other golf players or against a very specific person? You know, we want to give people the ability to look side by side. Here's my MQ, how it's distributed across my body. Here's maybe what I should be shooting for to get to the next level in the specific activity that I do.
And the thing that's more immediate is this will actually hold 6 different profiles. So if you have friends and family, this one device will actually work for those other individuals as well.
Yes, you can share it, you know, among your spouse or with maybe with your roommates or something like that. You can share it with a couple of people.
Any other questions on this side? Everyone good? Yes, in the back.
How often do you suggest measuring your muscles? You know.
Yeah.
How
you know,
often do they change?
You can see changes. I mean, in the course of just a week or two, when you're doing a really rigorous workout regimen, and you know, it's a little bit addictive too. It's kind of like your weight. You know, you kind of want to check it a lot. You know, you kind of want to see how's my body doing, your different muscles, and over a period of time. One of the cool things is that sometimes with activity trackers, you'll use them for a couple of weeks and then get bored and just not look at them. But you always want to see how your body's changing. You know, 2 months down the line, you want to know even more than you did just a week later. So we think it's the sort of product that people are going to be engaged with for a long time.
Excellent. Well, we thank you all for coming today.
Thanks a lot.
Next up, and our last participant, we have Healbe.
How's everybody doing? Yeah. Okay, my name's Brian, and I'm here with Healbe to introduce you to Gobi, the new 100% automatic body manager. Now, I also have a confession to make while I'm up here. Sounds like there's a lot of that going on today. But technically, we shouldn't be here. See, this battle was for fitness trackers, and Gobi is much more than a fitness tracker. It's a 100% total body manager. Let me explain the difference. See, fitness trackers are all about tracking your activity, and Gobi is about much more than tracking activity, and whole body health is about much more than activity. That's why Gobi allows you to monitor everything from calorie intake, calorie output, stress levels, hydration, and more. And it does this without having to log any information, and it uses information from your body. Therefore, it does it without having to use any averages or estimates. So to help us show the difference between a normal fitness tracker and Gobi, I have a couple people to help us put those to the test today. First, we have George.
Hi, George.
George is one of the founders of Healbe, and he wears his Gobi on a daily basis to track his whole body health. Over here we have Megan. She's, well, just Megan. And she's got her fitness tracker on today, and she's agreed to help us with this test. So these two have been working hard all morning, getting ready for this big battle and for this test. And we're going to go ahead and get some information from them now and see how they're doing. So George, from an activity level, how are you working out today?
Oh, really good, Brian. I took 5,000 steps, logged 2.8 miles, and burned 450 calories already today.
That's great. And Megan?
Let's see, it says that I took 4,000 steps, about 2 miles, and 350 calories burned.
That's great. Sounds like you're both doing really well. But as I mentioned earlier, whole body health is about much more than just tracking your activity. So let's move on to some other aspects and talk about the calorie intake. First of all, how are you doing on calorie intake so far today, George?
I've taken 512 calories since this morning, and I haven't had to log or scan any meal.
That's great. And how about you, Megan?
You know, I forgot to log what I ate for breakfast. It wasn't that much, maybe. Oh.
Yeah, I can see how that could take some time to log. Rough night in New York City last night. So maybe next time you should use a Gobi, because you definitely don't want to take the time to write that meal down afterward. So let's move on to the next phase of this test, and the heart rate. When you're when you're exercising earlier today, your heart rate tends to increase. And can you tell me where your heart rate is now compared to when you were exercising earlier, George?
Right now, my heart rate is 72 beats per minute, and it went up to like 120 when I'm exercising.
Great. And Megan?
Yeah, I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Well, here, take this heart rate monitor, and maybe next time you'll be ready to answer the questions. So we'll move on to stress and blood pressure. So sometimes it'd be stressful being up here on stage. So let's talk about where your blood pressure is right now, George.
My blood pressure is now 120/70, which is quite normal. And my Healbe app tells me that I have low level of stress right now, even now.
Great. And Megan?
I don't know the answer to that either.
Here, how about this blood pressure cuff? Maybe if you put that on, you could get the answer for us.
I don't even know how to use this.
Oh, all right. Well, that's shocking, but we'll move on to the next one. So you guys have been working hard all morning. How's your hydration levels holding up? You've been taking in plenty of water? George?
Yes, I'm quite well hydrated today.
That's great. And how about you, Megan?
I don't know.
Any chance? Well, that's understandable. Well, it comes down to this. You want to live your life, you want to be happy, you want to be healthy, and you don't want to work real hard at it. So that's why Gobi allows you to monitor your whole body health without logging in any information and without the hassle of wearing multiple devices. It simply allows you to go be you. Thank you.
Go be fit, go do laundry, go do a whole bunch of stuff.
That's right.
I have a question. This is very amazing. But my first question is, if you have this emergent technology where you can see everything that's happening without inputting data, what about biomarkers to tell me if I'm at risk for a heart attack? Not just I'm obese or I'm sedentary. If I can see all this data, can I say, oh man, I'm at risk for a heart attack tomorrow, or things like that?
You want to answer this one?
No, you can answer.
Okay. So the app does call for what will happen if it sees some irregularities in your heartbeat and your heart rate. It will email you. It's not a doctor, obviously, but it will email you saying, hey, there's some irregularities going on here, something that's not normal. This is something you should possibly see a physician about. So that's something that's coming with the app as well.
Okay, and then in terms of the robust nature of this data, is how do you privatize this data? Because it is quite a bit. It is online. Your sleep patterns, your hydration, impedance, all those things. How do you protect and manage this data?
George?
All the data is available only for the consumer on his mobile phone and in his website. And so only this person has an access to this data, nobody else.
Waterproof?
Yes.
Yes.
How deep? Just curious.
35 meters.
35
You
meters.
can swim with it, yes, but you cannot
No
make
deep sea
it
diving?
Yes,
Okay.
as usual.
Shoot. Dang it. That's awesome. Questions right away for the... Yes, here in the corner. What is your question? I'll repeat it for you. Oh, he is? Okay.
Talk about the ability to determine calorie consumption.
Ability to determine calorie consumption.
Okay, I knew this question was going to come up, and for full disclosure, I'm a president of the marketing company that represents Healbe, not one of the Healbe developers. So if you don't mind, I'm going to read the answer to this question so I don't mess it up. So after you eat carbohydrates from your meal, they're converted into glucose in your blood. The insulin triggers your cells to absorb glucose, which is used for energy. In the process, glucose displaces liquids in your cells, and the body manager's impedance sensor measures these changes by sending high and low frequency signals through your tissue to determine the fluid volume in and out of the cells. So that's why I couldn't memorize that one. I'm so sorry.
So it's about fluid. That's how they measure the calories, basically.
We got one back here.
Is this on the market now? And if so, what's the retail on it?
So we did an initial pre-sales are happening now via e-commerce.
The shipment from the pre-sale will be in September. In retail, it will be starting in October. Price? And the price will be $299.
I had a question about the calories. Actually, go ahead, sir, in the corner.
Does the Healbe device measure muscle quality and body fat?
The question was, does it measure muscle
the
quality?
Technology, actually, we use the quite close technology because we use the impedance sensor that measures the tissue, we can say, resistance. So it means that by developing our technology, we can measure the same thing.
I just want to clarify.
Because you know that here we have the impedance sensor that you can stick to any part of your body to measure the calories intake. Because
Just in case folks don't know what impedance is, it's how fluid runs through your body. So the electric sensor goes to your body and measures the amount of fluid in the muscle, and that's how you determine. Just in case anyone was curious.
Yes, who are your competitors, if any?
Do you know any device that track intake calories? I think only table data. And I can tell that we just checked the accuracy of the table data calculation. The accuracy is approximately like 50-40% accurate.
So, I could add to that question as well. We don't feel that we are in any certain category that exists. We do feel that this Gobi does create a new category of body manager. I'm sure there'll be eventually some other candidates within that category, but as of now, we don't feel that there's anybody else that would fit into that category that can do all the things that Gobi does completely automatic.
When you're doing exercise tracking, does it have to be steps, or if you do a class like Core Fusion, the classes they give at a gym, how do they measure how many calories you're burning?
We have 3 sensors that allow us to measure all types of activities, because we have impedance sensor that measures like calorie intake, and we have a piezo sensor that can measure the heart rate, and we have accelerometer. So it means that this combination of 2 factors, like accelerometer, it's in terms of movements, and your pulse, allows us to measure the calories spent during any kind of activity.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, so the time has come, and I'm not touching any buttons. So, Peter, if it's supposed to move, let it move. So we're just going to review a little bit. Andia and I, we got to watch all the presentations. We have 4 candidates. We have, just a review, Wellograph, the Sapphire smartwatch, correct? Let's hold the applause until the end. And then we have Goki, that is a new wellness program that is not a fitness tracker. We have Skulpt, that is not a band, but as my husband said, neither is Steely Dan. I got it in. And then we wrapped up with Healbe. So Andia, as a fitness expert, what were your thoughts on our various bands?
First of all, I'm into fashion and function and fitness and all that stuff together. So I like the fact that the ones that you wear are actually sleek, and I like the idea of the nickel and the chrome and the sapphire on Willoughby. And I do like the specificity of Skulpt because it's important to understand the capacity for work in each muscle. I enjoy the social capital of Goki, so I was really excited about the diversity in this arena and the wearables, and excited to see who wins. Who takes home the care package. And by the way, can I try these things? Can I take one of each would be fine.
All right, guys, so the time has come, and we've gone over and over and over and over of this about how to vote for this, and we've decided for our purpose this time, you're just going to hold up your hand. If anybody would like to vote for, and let me give you the criteria. Hold on. This is based on the 3 points: creativity of the presentation, usefulness and capabilities of the device. All right? Creativity of the presentation and usefulness and capabilities of the device. So, first, how many think that Wellograph is the new winner of the Battle of the Bands? Okay. How about Goki? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are you guys helping me count? Okay, so we got 6 for Goki. Skulpt. Ooh. 15 for Skulpt. Skulpt is now our current leader. Healbe.
Oh.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't
6,
even
7,
think that
8,
was close.
9, 10, 11.
Well, George, welcome to the New York City.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would like to somewhere meet you in my dream with that meal you had and eat whatever that was.
Excellent. Why don't you stand in front of the podium? The Adidas My Coach watch is going to be very upset to know they've been displaced. Congratulations, George. Thank you all very much for coming. January CES 2015, we'll be doing a rematch of the Battle of the Bands. But this evening at 6 o'clock, we'll be doing the Fashion Wear Show of Wearable Tech in the Networking Lounge, and we'll see you up there. Thank you.
Good afternoon.